Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is currently still moving around the 46.3k level, so pretty much sideways, and there isn't really a direction in which Bitcoin is currently going here on the on the weekend. So we're gonna take a look at that in a minute. First of all, here a little bit of a longer term view is that after Bitcoin broke out of this symmetrical triangle here, we can see that it came up all the way to the 200-day moving average. So let's take that, because what you have here is essentially you've got that channel here, but within the channel you had this symmetrical triangle. And in terms of that triangle, we can see that, Bitcoin obviously, or do I need to draw that differently? 1 second. I think I do. So within that triangle, Bitcoin obviously, you can draw it as a symmetrical triangle. You can also draw it as a ascending triangle. In the end, it doesn't really matter too much now. But Bitcoin broke out of above that previous high here at 45.8k, then moved up to the 200-day moving average where it found resistance for now, then came down again to that 45k, 45.5k level and retested the previous resistance as support. That is generally a good sign, generally a bullish sign. But what it needs to do now, and it hasn't done that yet, first of all, we need to see more volume for a confirmation that we continue to go up. And we now need to break above that previous rejection point here and the 200-day moving average pretty much here at 48.2k. So that is a very, 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 very important resistance level now. And this is this one here. We need to break above that previous rejection point. Only then, in my opinion, higher prices are possible. Currently stuck a little bit. What is interesting though is that Bitcoin, and it's a bit too early to really confirm that, but it's looking like that Bitcoin is developing here a triangle formation. So a pretty much a symmetrical triangle trend continuation pattern, which you could argue will push the price higher from here. Of course, we never know until the breakout is here. But if we identify this triangle here on the chart and we add here the height of the triangle, you always want, in terms of what is the price target of that triangle, you usually use the height of the triangle, and we take a look at where it started, which is pretty much here. And we add it to a potential breakout point to the upside that would take us all the way up to nearly 50k, or to the downside, that move would be to 42.7k. And here we've got a confluence of different factors, because the 42.7k level, as I told you before, if we break below that, then I would change again my primary scenarios, because from there I would consider it more likely that we then go down again, because it then crossed again a structurally very, very relevant level for Bitcoin. However, as long as it stays above that 42.7k, it's all good. And this current scenario remains live, in which we would get all the way into this green target area located between 55 and 65k, before we, in my opinion, would then turn around here and eventually get into this yellow target area here between 20 and 29k. I did expect that earlier. Like for many altcoins, they did the same move. They did come into this target area between certain Fibonacci levels, but what is most important for Bitcoin is that it makes the lower low compared to the previous wave A. So I would consider the 27k level a very important one. That is the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement level for Bitcoin. But at the moment, Bitcoin in this channel, and I think if we take a look here on the 4-hour chart, at some point today we might see a decision here. Last weekend, and that was very interesting, on the last weekend before the candle close, obviously Bitcoin made it above this, pretty much above this 45.8k level, close to daily, close to weekly candle there. Since then we did hold above that level. So we broke previously briefly below the level, below the 45.8, but since then we have reclaimed it and retested it again. So maybe there will be a little bit of a movement today before that weekly candle close. And that was also the yeah, the last time I think really that we saw here relevant volume on the Bitcoin chart. So have that triangle here, keep an eye on that triangle. Generally, if we take a look, for example, at the EMA ribbon, you can see with that latest move here, and this is the 4-hour chart, with that latest move today, we are back above the EMA ribbon, and we did hold throughout here the EMA ribbon, briefly faked out here to the downside, but so far we are holding above the EMA ribbon, which is good on the 4-hour chart. We still have that long signal going. That long signal was triggered down here, and yeah, again, it's anybody who listened to that long signal is now nicely in profit. That triggered at 39.5k. Not saying I did listen to it, but this is also my buy order level, by the way. But still, you know, these long and short signals on the EMA ribbon, they can be helpful, but always use different indicators as well. Don't only use one single indicator, it's too risky, okay? So, by the way, anybody who asked, the few people who asked, what is that EMA ribbon? It's fairly easy to find. You just type in EMA ribbon here on TradingView, and this is actually the first one here with, yeah, this one here, the very first one. So it's fairly good to find. On the 8-hour chart as well, we had that long signal. We are still above the EMA ribbon, and consequently, you will probably see that we're on the daily. We also had that long signal, and we are here significantly above the EMA ribbon. So all of that looking okay so far, yeah, especially as we did hold in the end that 45.5k level. I think Bitcoin is trying to establish itself about above that level, and will then take another attempt to break through the 200-day moving average. So from an EMA ribbon point of view, that's all looking good. We are still above it. If we take a look at the where are the Bollinger Bands here? So on the daily, you can see that in the, or with regards to the Bollinger Bands, we are in the upper half, in the upper segment of the Bollinger Bands. That is generally considered bullish. Typically when you reach the band, you snap back in. That is exactly what happened here. So far we've held above that middle line, and that middle line is running here around 41.7k. So on the way down, this could act as a support. If you get to that, you will also break that 42.7k level. But if we then snap back up, that wouldn't be a major problem. But if you close here several candles below that 42.7k, then I'm gonna go back to that previous scenario. 4-day chart, generally looking at the indicators here, further upside showing. Yeah, generally the longer term view hasn't changed yet. So as soon as you see here the EMA or the MACD turn around again on the 4-day chart, this will be a warning signal, yeah, because at the moment it's still pushing higher, showing positive momentum on the 4-day chart. But if Bitcoin doesn't start to move, we're gonna see that turn around, and you already see it turn around on the 2-day chart. So the next days will show how this is going to develop, because if you get a 2-day chart bearish crossover, that is not good. And critically here on the 1-day chart as well, we're gonna see here that bearish crossover play out probably. There's still a chance for Bitcoin to turn it around, but that could push the price once more lower. So need to be aware of that. At the moment, no effect yet, but if Bitcoin doesn't soon break out here to the upside of that triangle, you're gonna, yeah, you're probably gonna see that bearish crossover, especially should the breakout be to the downside. That could take Bitcoin closer to that 42.7k level again, and then also will probably result in that bearish crossover on the MACD. On the daily, that is not a good sign and has decided previously for Bitcoin. So if you take a look on the daily, so previously, whenever we had those peaks here in that formation in which Bitcoin currently in, and let me just take the Bollinger Bands out again. Here. So in this formation here, it's always important to look at the history. How has a chart reacted previously to certain indicators? And you know, when we were up here in that wave A, yeah, and we had that bearish crossover on the daily, then it pushed the price down from 45.5 all the way down to below 40k again. Now the time before that, exactly the same thing happened. So those bearish crossovers on the MACD on the daily, they can have a substantial effect on Bitcoin, on the price. So it is something to keep certainly an eye on. Of course, in this video here, or in these videos, I can only give you a momentary snapshot of Bitcoin, what Bitcoin is doing. I don't know what happens in 2 hours or 3 hours, yeah, from a short-term point of view, but I gave you the key support and resistance levels where I think further decisions will be made for Bitcoin. But certainly keep an eye here on the daily EMA ribbon. Very, very important. Okay, that is my view here on Bitcoin. Hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.